everyone, Kaylee here. Today I have 5 resolutions that you can make to help your hair be healthier in 2013. You can use 1 or 2 of these or even all 5, but even if you choose to just use 1, it's really going to help enhance the health of your hair. So let's just jump right into it. Resolution number 1 is to keep my hair moisturized. Now, when your hair is dry, it becomes brittle, it's dull, your ends will kind of split easily, you'll get breakage easily, and it will tangle easily. All those things keep you from being able to grow your hair longer. It also keeps your hair from looking nice. So there are 2 things that you can do. You can do a leave-in conditioner every time you shower while your hair is wet, and you can do a deep conditioning treatment once a week. You don't have to do both. You can choose one or the other. That one's kind of up to you and your hair and what you like to do. If you want to do a leave-in conditioner, you would just put like a dime-sized amount through your hair when it's wet. And what that's going to do is to bind moisture to your hair so that obviously you have that moisture kind of sucked into your hair. It will also help to smooth your cuticle, which will make your hair smoother and shinier. That should help it not to tangle as much, and because your hair is a little bit more moisturized, it shouldn't break as easily. So that's going to help you on those fronts. Now, a deep conditioning treatment is going to do all the same things that a leave-in conditioner does, but it does them in a little bit more significant way. And a lot of times it has a lot more things in it, like protein and different things to help really enhance the health of your hair so that it actually repairs your hair. Whereas leave-in conditioners just kind of condition and smooth your hair, a deep conditioning treatment is going to go in and repair your hair. So some of you guys might have more damaged hair. I would recommend that you do a deep conditioning treatment. For those of you who have a little bit more healthy hair naturally, you could probably stick with just the leave-in conditioner. And again, if you want to get fancy, even if you already have healthy hair, you can do both. And if you have very damaged, overprocessed hair, I would certainly recommend that you do both. You'll definitely see a difference in your hair. Resolution number 2 is to detangle my hair nicely. Now, this is probably one of the biggest things that I see people doing is tugging a hairbrush through their hair, and every time you do that, you're breaking your hair off. And that's really the biggest thing that you're going to cause by not brushing through your hair nicely is that breakage. And the breakage is what kind of causes those little flyaways that kind of stick out like this and aren't very attractive looking. It usually happens because of breakage, and a lot of times that breakage comes from just being really, really rough on your hair. So there's a couple things you can do. If you have very tangly hair, I really suggest using a detangler on your hair. It helps so much. It makes the whole brushing process so much easier. And then make sure that you use a brush or a wide tooth comb that's meant to help detangle the hair. I love the Tangle Teaser. It's amazing. I have one at cosmetology school with me all the time just in case I have somebody with really, really tangly hair, because that happens, let me tell you, and it makes such a difference. And it also can be used on wet hair. Now, if you don't have a brush or wide tooth comb that is meant to be used on wet hair, please don't put a product or a tool through your hair while it's wet, because it's actually much more fragile while it's wet. So you can do a lot more damage brushing through your hair. You might not feel those really heavy snags like you do when it's dry and you're brushing through it, but even the littlest thing can break your hair while it's wet. So just wait, unless you have a tool that's actually meant to be used on wet hair, like a wide tooth comb or a Tangle Teaser or a wet brush, something like that. Just wait until your hair is dry, and then you can go ahead and brush through it. And then when you are brushing through it, making sure that you're going from the ends to the roots. So you start brushing through here until it brushes through nicely, then you go up a couple inches, and then you keep going up until you get up to your roots. You're going to notice a lot of difference in your hair when you do that. All you really have to do is make sure that you do that after you shower, and then maybe, once a day after that. If you go 2 days, just make sure that you take one time a day to really go through your hair and detangle it. You'll notice that when you're nice to your hair, there's a lot less breakage, the cuticle will be a lot smoother, and you ought to be able to grow your hair longer. Resolution number 3 is to protect my hair from the heat. Now, a lot of heat styling on your hair is going to cause damage to the outer layer of the hair, which is called the cuticle. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to make it not shiny, it will make it break easily, it will make it porous, it will make your ends split easier, and it will cause your hair to break more easily. It'll be very, very fragile. So there's some things that you can do to kind of fight against that. One thing that's kind of obvious is to kind of limit your amount of heat that you put on your hair. Even with all the tutorials that I do on YouTube, I still don't use the heat tool on my hair more than twice a week, just to kind of keep my hair a little bit healthier, a little bit nicer, so it can kind of grow a little bit longer. That's how I've managed to grow my hair as long as it is. And then another thing that you can do when you're using your hair dryer, make sure that you're not using it on a high heat setting. That's really not good for your hair, because honestly those really high heats are just about, can be at least, just about as hot as a heat styling tool. And if you're putting that on every single time you shower, that really is a lot on your hair. So just go down a little bit, use the low heat or even the cool option if you want to. And then obviously a third thing you can do is to use a heat protectant on your hair. That doesn't completely erase the damage that comes with a heat styling tool, but it does minimize it. So definitely use that on your hair because it's going to form a protective layer so that you don't cause that damage to your cuticle so quickly. So when you do that, when you're watching how often that you use a hot tool, when you're making sure that you don't use your dryer on a high heat setting, and when you're making sure that you're protecting your hair from the heat, you should notice your hair being a little bit shinier. You should notice it not tangling it as easily. You should notice it not breaking as easily. Now, that might take some time, especially if you've already done a lot of damage to your hair, and in that case, I would refer you to resolution number 1. But it might take you some time to notice that, but over time you're going to notice that your hair is generally healthier when you take care of it and you're making sure that you kind of moderate how much heat you put on your hair. Resolution number 4 is to get my hair trimmed when it needs it. Now, I know some hairdressers tell you to go and get your hair cut every 6 weeks. If you have long hair, you do not need to get your hair cut every 6 weeks. But when you look at your ends and you're like, oh, those are looking a little damaged, you should go get them cut. Because what happens is when your ends get damaged, the damage actually travels up the hair shaft. So whereas if you look at it and you're starting to see that damage and you go in and she's like, oh, okay, I'm going to cut 3/4 of an inch off, or oh, I'm going to cut 1/2 inch off. You know, if that's not too much, you're really not going to miss that much on your hair, and you keep that damage from kind of traveling up. But if you wait a couple months, you might end up losing 2 or 3 inches of hair. So over time, you end up losing a lot more hair, and the hair that you do have is a lot more damaged. I have seen people that go in and get consistent cuts when their hair is damaged and when it's ready, and I've seen people that wait too long. And I'm glad to tell you, the people that really take care of their hair and they stay on top of getting those trims, it looks so much better. Now, your hair grows about 1/2 inch a month, so let's say that you need to get it trimmed every 3 to 4 months and you need to get about 3/4 of an inch taken off, then you're only going to lose about half of that new growth that you have. Whereas if you wait 8 months, then you really have to lose like 3 to 4 inches, and I have seen that happen, then you kind of lose all the amount of hair that you've gained. So it's good to go back and get those trims, even if it's a little counterintuitive. Just get it trimmed when you start seeing that damage. It really, really does help your hair in the long run. So number 5 is that I will not put my hair in a ponytail all the time. Now, I don't just say that for fashion's sake. I say that because when you put your hair in a ponytail at the same height consistently, what's going to happen is that you actually cause breakage where the hair tie meets the hair. And it kind of forms this little line of flyaways where, you know, your ponytail kind of forms. And you'll get it on the nape of your neck as well. I can always tell people that leave their hair in a ponytail when their hair is down because there is that little line of frizz right there. So what you want to do, if you have to put your hair in a ponytail for sports or something like that, just vary the height that you're putting the ponytail at, because that way you're not putting stress on that one point of hair, because it's always going to break that one point if you're always putting it in the same place. And additionally, if your sport allows, try putting your hair in a braid or a bun if you can, just to avoid putting it in the stress of that hair tie. And then obviously if you're just somebody that likes to run to a quick thing for your hair and you know you find that putting your hair back in a ponytail is really quick, just look around on YouTube and find some quick 5-minute hairstyles. I have some on my channel, there are others throughout the internet, but just find those and just avoid throwing your hair into that same ponytail so you don't end up with that same line of breakage. It's not a good look. Another thing that you can do is watch what kind of elastic you're using on your hair. Definitely don't use those little ones that are made out of rubber. That is so bad for your hair because those are going to rub and fray on the cuticle layer of your hair like nothing else, and they snag and pull on the hair so you actually pull out hair with it every time, or at least that's what happened to me when I used them. I did not enjoy it. So just say no to rubber hair ties, and you know, just look for ones that are kind of cloth all the way around, they don't have any metal, and that's going to be a lot better. And the ones that I actually like are these flat elastic ones. They're kind of trendy right now, like you see them in like stores everywhere and stuff. I really like them because they are a little bit gentler on the hair. They kind of advertise themselves as like they never give you a bump in their hair and stuff like that, and that's true. Like it really does do a good job of not putting a dent in the hair. So I like them because they are a little bit gentler and all that, but if you don't want to buy those, just make sure that you're not using one with rubber or metal on it and you should be good. And then finally, if you're somebody like me who does not like to sleep with your hair down because this smothers me at night, let me tell you, I go ahead and put my hair in a braid to sleep. That way it's not in a ponytail, because then you're spending however many hours sleeping on that ponytail with all that, you know, friction and everything going on right there, and it's just not good for your hair. So just put it in a braid or multiple braids or a French braid, you know, whatever you need for your hair depending on your layer situation. would be a better idea than just putting it in a ponytail. Those are my 5. Those last 2 are actually the ones that I need to work on this year. I need to make sure that I'm getting my hair trimmed when it needs it and that I'm not leaving my hair in a ponytail all the time, because sometimes I am tempted, especially if I'm tired or it's been a long day or I'm just, you know, running around the house, whatever. But I just need to break the habit. So tell me in the comments which of those sound good to you. If you decide to do any of those as one of your New Year's resolutions, write it in the down bar. Tell me. I would be really interested to know. And if you guys are interested, on my other channel I actually did a video on my personal resolutions for 2013. In case you're wondering, if you're not interested, just don't worry about it, but if you are, it's annotated right here and linked in the down bar, so you can go check it out, and I would love to see you over there. And that is it. I will see you guys in my next video. Mwah! Bye.